Cycling gives people an opportunity to experience aerobic exercise while still participating in an enjoyable activity. This sport can be accessed by anyone from the casual rider going to class to the professional level cyclist racing in the Tour de France. These varying degrees of experience all have one thing in common: the bike. Whether they might be riding a performance road bike or an everyday cruiser, their riding position will determine how they ride in the future and can change their speed and comfort on the bike. The best way to perfect this position is to adjust the height of one's seat post and saddle placement. Riding positions are critical to every cyclist as it affects multiple aspects of the ride. These positions are generally characterized in two types of ways: the upright and the aero position. Having an upright and relaxed position takes much of the strain of riding off of your back. While being comfortable, it sacrifices speed for ease in the saddle. In this position, riders are less aerodynamic as they catch more air and are slower as a result. On the other hand, having an aero position has you in a more streamlined form. The rider is generally reaching farther for the bars. The drop between the saddle height and handlebars is larger, and the rider's position is farther forward on the saddle. In addition, this position allows the rider to go faster as it lets them put more torque on the pedals. Now that we've discussed the types of cycling positions, let's examine how to adjust your bike to accommodate for your personal preference. There are two methods in finding your saddle height: the Holmes method and the inseam method. In order to adjust your seat post, you will need an Allen tool and tape measure. For the inseam method, measure the distance from your heel to the bottom of your groin with your tape measure and subtract 10 centimeters from this value. Your new measurement should be the distance from the bottom bracket axle to the top of your saddle. The Holmes method measures the angle of the leg at the bottom of the pedal stroke to find the ideal riding position. In order to do this, find a saddle height that fully extends your leg at the bottom of the stroke. From this height, lower the seat by 1 centimeter to reach the adequate position. According to the Globalist Cycling Network's video on the most ideal riding position, the Holmes method is the most accurate, as it's based on the idea that your best position is when your leg can extend approximately 90% to allow for the most torque on the pedals. You can adjust the seat height by unscrewing the bolts at the top of the seat tube with your Allen tool and moving the saddle up or down. After you've found your spot, retighten the screws. Increasing your saddle height will result in a more aerodynamic position, while lowering the saddle will give you a more upright fit. Make sure not to over-tighten the screws, as it may damage the bearings on your bike. This would result in the seat post slipping over time. In conclusion, a rider's position on their bike is dependent on their own personal preference. They can reach the adequate form by adjusting the seat post on which their saddle is located. By using either the inseam method or the Holmes method, they can estimate the ideal position for their individual riding style. Lastly, by lowering or increasing their saddle height, from this point they can increase the comfortability and aerodynamics of the bike, respectively. With these tips, the rider will find efficiency increases in their cycling and become one step closer to winning their own Tour de France.